the impact it had on him, because he had been on this throughout the whole night. He was touched, and then the fact that Jesus went in the Bible, actually one instruction from Jesus can change the whole situation. If Jesus can raise the dead, he can also perfect the living. It can't just be somebody else that would betray Jesus. Hello beautiful, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, you are welcome. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're a returning viewer, thank you for always coming. I do videos related to nursing, lifestyle and faith related content, but today we are doing a movie review. I've already done a short about this movie, The Chosen. So it's based on the story of Jesus Christ while he was here on earth, at least so far. And yeah, I just did a little movie review during a short video that I posted here on YouTube. But then in this video I want to talk about more scenes because they are so enjoyable. Guys, you guys need to really see this movie if you've not seen it. So I will advise that if you are watching the movie, that you should please read the Gospels. At least read the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, all those parts, so that you can get a sense and understanding of what is happening in the movie, because there are some parts that was tweaked a bit, so that you can get the full story and know the part that actually happened in the Bible and the part that not really happened. So let's get right into the video. There are some scenes that I want to talk about, and the first one I'll talk about is when Simon, which is also Peter, met Jesus Christ for the first time. Oh my god, one thing I love about this movie is that it gave perspective to the story that we read in the Bible. And if you remember, Simon was fishing with his brother Andrew. They were fishing all night, but then they were not able to make any single cash. They were not able to make any cash at all, and they were frustrated and all. But then the next morning, they saw Jesus, and Jesus Christ told Simon to put back his net into the river, and then when he brought it up, he caught a whole lot of fish, that to the extent that the boat wanted to sink. One thing that happened in the movie was that they gave a kind of background story, because we know that Simon was fishing all night. So why was he fishing all night? They kind of showed that he had a financial crisis, though the Bible didn't say that, but it was in the movie, and then they just gave it more life per se. So Simon was having a lot of financial crisis, and then he had taxes to pay, he had his family, his wife to take care of, and then if he was not able to pay those taxes, they were going to seize his boat. So that's why he was fishing all night. He was so frustrated, he needed the cash, he needed the ego immediately. So when Jesus actually told him to lay down his net that morning, and then he caught that whole lot of fish, the impact it had on him, because he had been on this throughout the whole night. He did not make any cash, and then Jesus just told him to do this, and then he just believed in a way, and he laid down the net. It shows, number one, willingness to obey. Not only willingness, but actually obedience. He was first of all willing, and then he was obedient, though he was reluctant in a way, because if anybody was in that situation, you'll be working all night, there's nothing you did, nothing even came out for his whole night's work. But then Jesus is telling him to put in the net. Okay, there's this sense of doubt that might come into anybody's heart, but then despite that doubt, Simon still went ahead and he obeyed Jesus. And then when he obeyed Jesus, he saw that it was profitable obeying Jesus. So one thing that we can get from that is that sometimes we can be doing something the right way, we can be doing something how we are supposed to do it, but then one instruction from Jesus can change the whole situation. It can just take you from year to year because the amount of cash that Simon was able to get that day, like when I say cash, I mean like cashing fish. So the amount that he got that day was so much that the boat was sinking. So it's not something that is possible, it's not something that is feasible. How is that actually possible? And then Simon was just so broken, and then he knelt down at Jesus' feet, and he was like saying that he should depart from him because he's a sinful man. That place was just so touching. It just gave, I know we have been reading the story a lot, but they just kind of gave a more visible imagination to what we have been reading. Another part, another scene I would love to talk about is Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. I don't know which season was that. That's season 4 or 5. I can't really remember. I think it's season 4. I'm not really sure. But it's one of the seasons. So Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. So if you can remember, Lazarus was sick, and then his sisters Martha and Mary sent message over to Jesus that their brother is sick. And you remember that Jesus really loved Lazarus. They were friends, and also the movie showed that they were friends, that they were very close. So when Jesus receives this message, he said that this sickness is not unto death, and he said it to the hearing of his disciples. So later on, after some days had went by, he then received another message that Lazarus was dead. So I'm just imagining what the disciples would be thinking in their hearts. But Jesus, did you say that the that the sickness was not unto death? So what is happening? But then somehow they just decide to be quiet and just see what's happening and just believe God and follow along with God. So when Jesus went to go and meet Martha and Mary where they were crying, that place was just so touching. And then the fact that Jesus went in the Bible, they actually showed it that Jesus was weeping in that particular scene. It was just so heartbreaking in it. And after the whole crying scene and everything, Jesus told them, Martha and Mary, to take him to where Lazarus is being laid, like where his body is. And then they took him to the tomb. Then then everyone was like, what is happening? There was a last scene that between Thomas and his girlfriend in the movie. Thomas had a girlfriend, someone that he wanted to marry. In the movie, I'm saying in the movie because that's we did not see in the Bible. But in the movie, he had a girlfriend that he wanted to marry, and his girlfriend died initially some episodes before, so he was still grieving, in the process of grieving her death. And then he was like thinking, what will happen here will Jesus raise Lazarus from the dead? That he was just feeling like, can Jesus raise someone from the dead? So but that is beside the point. Back to where we were talking about, Jesus then told them to roll over the stone from the tomb. So everybody was like, there will be a stench that will come out from the dead body, that he has been dead for 4 days. And he was like, he was like, somebody should still roll it up. And then they went and they rolled up the stone, and then he called Lazarus out. And Lazarus actually came out with him being embalmed and tied with clothes and everything. It was just so, oh my god, I felt goosebumps watching it. I feel you guys should go watch it. I can relate what I'm saying. When Lazarus just walked out from the tomb, I was like, I obviously know the story. We obviously know the story, but then actually watching it and actually seeing it, it gave, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to put it to words, but it's something that just gave an impression in my mind, kind of. And I think that episode was titled The Last Sign, something like that. Last Sign, that is season 4, The Last Sign. That, I think that was one of the major last signs that Jesus Christ had before he then was betrayed and died and everything. But that particular episode just touched me a whole lot. It was just like, if Jesus can raise the dead, he can also perfect the living, just like what Apostle Jerusalem always say. If Jesus can raise the dead, he can also perfect the living. If Jesus can raise the dead, he can also perfect the living. That is literally what Apostle Jerusalem said in one of his preachings. So that was what was just playing in my head when I saw that particular scene. Another scene I would like to talk about is Judas Iscariot. Oh my god, why? Why? Oh my god. Like, no, we know the story. Funny enough, this video is not really a spoiler, because the real spoiler is the Bible. We already know the story, we already know how it goes. But then actually seeing that it was one of Jesus' disciples that betrayed him. We know that, but I don't know. It was just somehow. Okay. Funny enough, that particular the whole process leading up to the betrayal, it made me feel bad for Jesus. It also made me feel bad for Judas because let me explain. First of all, Jesus knew from time, right from time, that this is what is going to happen. He told his disciples that somebody will betray him. And everybody was saying, Lord, is it me? Lord, is it me? We know the story. But at that point, I think Judas knew. Like, I don't really know if Judas knew or not. But then the fact, the what made me really sad with the whole story was that why can't it just be somebody else that would betray Jesus? Maybe one of the Pharisees. We already know that the Pharisees don't like Jesus. Why can't it just be one of the Pharisees or somebody else that will betray Jesus? Why now Judas? And at first, when Judas came into the discipleship of Jesus, he did not come with the intention of betraying Jesus. He actually believed that Jesus was the Son of God. He actually was believing in everything that Jesus was doing, because you can't be close to Jesus that much and you'll not believe. But then the perception or the way the movie went, the movie now, it showed that it was showing that Judas did not trust God from the movie. I don't really know the reason why he would do that, but we know that he was being influenced by the enemy. He was really influenced by Satan. That's what the Bible actually said. We know that part. So that is even what is even making me kind of sad watching it, because this guy, he believed in Jesus. He actually believed God from the start. But all of a sudden, and then he was also someone that was dealing with the finances of Jesus Christ's ministry and everything. All of a sudden, he started having this when I say distrust from God, not that he doesn't believe, but distrust in a way. And we could see the gradual growth of it in the movie. We could see it a whole lot. And then during the Last Supper in the movie, one of the episodes in the movie, Jesus told him that how did he even put it? That he should, okay, the Bible said he should go and do what he has to do, and he actually went to go and do what he had to do. But then I can't remember how he puts it in the movie, but he was trying to say that that Satan was influencing Judas, and Jesus knew it all along. So the particular scene when Judas just came out from the crowd of, after, how it goes in the Bible, after Jesus went to go and pray, and then he told Simon and was it Andrew, Simon, James, and John to wait for him while he went to go and pray, and then they were always sleeping. That part. So when Jesus came out for praying, he then told them, "Are you still sleeping?" That part was. And then he then said, "Look, my betrayer is coming." Oh my God, that place broke me. I don't know, but that place was just so emotional. And then Judas came out from the little crowd of army or soldiers, that came to come and arrest Jesus. And then immediately Judas just came out like, "Oh my God!" I was like, Jesus Christ, I know, but actually seeing it, I was just so engrossed in the whole episode. But then Judas then walked to Jesus, and they called him Rabbi. Oh my God! And then Jesus then called him friend, and then he kissed, in fact, Jesus. When he pecked Jesus, that was a sign. That was a sign he was giving to the soldiers that this is actually Jesus. And then that was where the season ended, because right now this season 5, that's where the season ended, and I'm waiting for season 6 and season 7. But we know the whole story from the Bible, but just watching it, it just made it was so emotional. I honestly don't think that I'm ready for season 6 and season 7, because it will so no, it will be so heartbreaking. Jesus went through a lot. But then again, when I think about it, I know it's for our greater good. It was because of our salvation. It was because of what that he died. So that should make me not feel too sad about the whole story. But so why should I answer? Why not the Pharisees? Why not the Pharisees that betrayed Jesus, not Judas? I don't know if I can answer that. But guys, that was how the whole season went. If you haven't seen the video, if you haven't seen the movie, go and watch it. Go and see it. I think it's in Prime Video. Yes, Prime Day. I get it in I don't know if you can get it in Netflix. I actually watched it from Prime Video. So go and see the movie. Thank you for watching so far, and I will see you guys in my next video. Go and watch that movie. Bye guys.